Hey guys, welcome to Mara Structure. I am Mara, and today we're going to be doing my May reading wrap up, my May monthly reading wrap up. These books here are just here for decoration because it was just looking a little bland. I really want to create like my reading nook. Like, I need to get, I have a bookshelf, but I wanted like a taller bookshelf with maybe like, I just want it to be like a vibe. But right now, it mentally makes sense, but I have to figure out for it to physically make sense. So, yeah. Yeah, I was just randomly looking on. First of all, it took so much energy for me to get here to make this video. Like, so much energy. But, anyways, did y'all see those new Stanleys on Amazon? It's the matcha green one. Child, I've been trying to tell myself that I do not need this cup, but if you don't know, now you do. I absolutely love matcha, and this matcha Stanley is such a vibe. The collection just released like last week, and I absolutely love it. But it's $40. Who wants to spend $45 on a cup? But anyways, that's not why we're here today. We're here to discuss my May reading wrap up. And I feel like for the month of May, my reading month was very much mediocre. It was very much not giving what it needed to give. And I was in a huge slump. Like for May, my reading mood was just so up and down. It was just, my emotions were just all, oh, my nails match my iPad. My reading mood was just so up and down. My mood period was so up and down. So let's get into the wrap up. These are in no particular order. I need to check and make sure this mic stays on because it has not been charged in a while. So let's pray that we can get through this video. Um, yeah, so first we have, did I already say these are in no particular order? This is Thick of Love by Danielle Marcus. I absolutely love this book. This was the only book that I read in the month of May that I absolutely loved. I don't rate my books stars. I strictly go off vibes. But if I were to give this book stars, it would have to be 5 stars. So if I feel like if you like Waiting to Exhale or like the show Girlfriends, specifically the show Girlfriends, um if you like what am I looking for? Um so if you like the show Girlfriends, I think you'll like the book because it does follow 3 different women and it does navigate their journey of being in toxic relationships. That's why it's called Thick of Love because they're thick and thin, baby. So, like their toxic relationship, what am I trying to say? Okay, it follows their journey of their toxic relationships as well as them going into healthy relationships. And I absolutely love books like that when it follows like a group of girl best friends and I love me a good relationship conversation piece. So, and I do feel like if she was able to make a book number 2, that would be lovely because I would love to see a book centered around, their healthy relationships because the book more so was, I would say it was like 80% like their toxic relationships and 20% of their new healthy relationship. And the way the men were loving them at the end of the book, like the new relationships that they were in, like I would have loved to see um, that more than their toxic relationships. But overall, I do feel like it was a really good book. Next, we have Queenie by Candace Carty Williams. I did not like this book at all. The book reminds me of Luster. It does follow Queenie, who is in her 20s living in London. And if you read the book Luster, then that's pretty much like the vibe of the book. And she's just a very much like scatterbrain, impulsive, spiraling, out of control individual. Like her anxiety gave me anxiety reading the book, and I think she may have put me in a reading slump because this is the book that I read in the beginning of May, and it was just a lot to handle emotionally because she was a lot to handle emotionally. But the difference between Queenie, oh, so I did also want to read this because the show does come out this month, June, on Hulu. But, excuse me, did I bring my water? Yeah. So the difference between Lester and Queenie, at least in Queenie, she does acknowledge therapy so that she's just not out here just being a toxic individual, period. But still, it was just like, I don't know. It's just one of those things I feel like certain topics should not become not so much normalized, but I feel like it's just really hard to say what I want to say about this book as well as like Luster because the content is so much similar, but you still have to tread lightly because there are people who are actually like this. Like I do know people who are like this. Um and the ones that I do know, like Queenie, she went and got help. Luster, she didn't. And I do know individuals who got help and one didn't. But it takes a lot of patience to deal with people like this because like you can't help anybody that doesn't want to help themselves. But I'm like, it's like, what's the point? Like what is the point almost? Like I don't know. Child, I don't know. Okay, so next we have The Neuroscientist Who Lost Her Mind by Barbara K. Lipska. Lipska, yeah. So this reads like a memoir. So if you're into memoirs as well as like neurology and psychology, I feel like you will appreciate the book. But if not, you probably will get lost. Like, okay, like it's just the book probably just would not be for you. But if you just like memoirs, period, of just like going through somebody's specific journey that they are choosing to share with them, then I think that you enjoy it. But it does follow a neuroscientist journey of um, getting cancerous tumors, those getting, removed, and the journey of her also, losing her mind due to the tumors, losing her mind because she, certain people who have certain personality disorders that they've been diagnosed with, and the effects of those that affect the brain that causes them to act certain way. Like she just states that sometimes those people cannot help it. Like she understands why they have certain behaviors due to their diagnosis. But due to her now being on the other side of that, of how the brain is able to heal itself, like there is hope there for people who suffer with like losing their mind from certain effects of um, certain neurological effects from certain diagnoses. And next, we have Sally Hepworth's Darling Girls. I had high hopes for this one, not gonna lie, because I've seen somebody speak about this, and this is my first book from this author, and I did not like it. Like, because the topic of this book is centered around child abuse and specifically in the foster care system. And that's the one thing that I cannot stomach. I cannot stomach child abuse. And I feel like 80% of this book was child, not me. I love me doing an 80/20. Um, I always do like an 80/20 reference. But, anyways, I feel like 80% of the book was focused on um, like that abuse in the foster care system because the book follows four different people, three women who grew up in this foster care home, with the fourth person being the evil foster mother. And they end up in the present. The book goes back and forth between past and present. And the book follows in the present. There's a body that's found in the backyard of that home that they grew up in. So of course they're suspects, as well as the evil foster mother. But the past focuses on what they went through at this evil stepmom's home. So like a lot of that 80% of the book was just all based around trauma. And then even with the plot twist, like the plot twist did not shock me, and I don't think the plot twist shocked me or that I appreciated the plot twist or enjoyed the plot twist, because I was just so sickened by what I was reading. Like it was just a trigger for me. Like it might not be a trigger for somebody else, but it was a trigger for me. And it was just like there's so many other topics, like because at the end of the day, the book is based off of factual situations that have happened in real life. And it's just like, why? Like why write a fiction book on, it's just, I'm sure like many, there's other stuff that is a trigger for me that's not a trigger for somebody else. So somebody else will not feel like, somebody might feel like, oh girl, it was not that serious, but it's that serious for me because it's a trigger. Like I just wasn't here for it. Like I just wasn't here for it. So maybe if someone else is not triggered, they will appreciate the book. This was my first book from her, so I'm not really used to her writing or what she usually writes about. She usually does have heavy topics in her book. But it's not even the fact that it's the topic that she chose. It was just that it was so focused on for such a long period of time in the book that it was just too much. Too much. So next we have Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose. This is my first book from her as well. First of all, she ate with the cover. Like I feel like this cover just needs to be on your bookshelf just because the cover is fire. So I do like this book, but I would tread lightly on who I recommend the book to, only because this book is like, I keep saying it's like on my other platforms that it's a cozy thriller. So it's a perfect like popcorn type thriller where you just want to snuggle up in your bed or in your couch or whatever you choose to read and enjoy like a little cozy thriller. Like it's a perfect rainy day book or like a perfect gloomy day book, because it is very slow in the beginning. And the plot twist definitely was plot twisting, but it wasn't like a shocking plot twist. So yeah, it's just very much giving cozy thriller, but I do think that she did a good job with the book. I will read her other books. I'm not like, it's not something where I'm like, oh yes, I gotta go run to read her other books. But I feel like if I'm in the mood for a cozy thriller, I feel like I probably would go and pick up one of her books, because if her writing is like that with her other books, and I feel like I will like that. So yeah. And next we have One of Us Knows by Alyssa Cole. So this is the second book that I read from her. The first one, I cannot think of the title of that other book to save my life. The gentrification thriller. I did actually really like that one, but that one is really, 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 really slow, as well as this one is slow. I feel like this one does pick up a little bit more than the other one, but it is still very slow. But I think that I was engaged into this one because the FMC is the FMC has a personality disorder, and I love psychology, so it was just interesting to see her switching to her different personalities. And but it was very slow. It was very, very, very slow. And the plot twist, I mean, the plot twist was twisting, but it was just like, it wasn't like a in your face type of plot twist, you know? And So I liked it, but I would like tread lightly as well. I just feel like somebody probably wouldn't have paid, like if you're not into like the personality disorder type thing, it might kind of like confuse you with the different personality switches, as well as you won't have patience for the beginning of the book. Like going back to my same reference again, the 80-20 reference, 80% of the book was just that building and 20% action, you know. And I just feel like you would have to appreciate her as an author, her writing style, and you would have to go into it with an open mind and heart to be able to appreciate the book. Because if you're a person who is used to reading thrillers, especially like the more upbeat one, like I feel like if you were to read like a Shanora Williams, in my opinion, so far, I have not read a whole bunch of thrillers, but Shanora Williams, the thrillers that she does are like my favorite popcorn thrillers because they're very fast paced and they give you like that plot twist that you need. So I feel like if you were to go into like a uh, read a Shanora Williams popcorn thriller or a Frida McFadden and then read this, or if you're used to reading like thrillers like that and that's your stilo, then you might not have the patience for this book. So I would like tread lightly on who I recommend this book to. It's not like a recommendation that I definitely recommend it, but it's not, I would definitely make sure I'm giving the recommendation to someone I know who would appreciate the book. But yeah, that is my reading wrap up for the month of May. I thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.